Hi y'all, welcome back to Snow White and the Seven Does podcast. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited about this week's episode. It's all about authenticity and the power of your authenticity, of being seen as who you are. This episode is about shedding the pressure to be perfect or pleasing and stepping into your real self, raw, radiant, and unapologetic. Together, we're going to unpack how authenticity isn't about oversharing or rebellion. It's about embodiment, safety, and truth. When you live and create from your true essence, you become not only magnetic, but spiritually and emotionally free. So, what does authenticity really mean? It's not just being honest, but it's embodying your truth. So alignment with your value, your words, your energy, and your actions. Authenticity isn't the same as being relatable. It's about being rooted. So many people fear authenticity out of fear of rejection, abandonment, or being too much. And I've been one of them, 100%. There have been times in my life where I have put aside my own needs, my own wants, my own desires to please someone else, or an attempt to please someone else, to have them choose me, like me, want me, out of fear of rejection, out of fear of abandonment. And all it did was dive me deeper into that feeling of abandonment and rejection, because people don't want what isn't real. And if it's not real, it reads so clearly. A lot of us have experienced trauma in our lives from expressing our true selves in childhood, or a lot of women experience this in dating and relationships. Unfortunately, society rewards conformity, but authenticity is the gateway to sovereignty. So to go a little bit deeper on that feeling of getting punished or shamed for expressing your truth, this often shows up later in life as self-censorship, perfectionism, or people-pleasing. And I've experienced a lot of this myself. I felt major rejection in my life, and I've also felt abandonment in my childhood, and a lot of neglect in my childhood. And because of this, into my adult life, I wasn't able to identify my truth as a child. And going into college and stuff like this, I really kind of found myself in the opposite of my personal flow. I was flowing with the crowd in what was easiest for everybody else, so that I wouldn't make rifts, or so that I could make friends, or so that I could feel like I belonged. I had like a 2-year period of just surrounding myself with the wrong people, and people that just didn't give a hoot about me. And I was fighting so hard to be seen and loved and valued by just people that didn't see my value. And it hurt me so much to where I isolated myself, and I became a big perfectionist, especially on my time and my goals, because I didn't want to disappoint myself anymore. And I felt like I needed to take the control back to a certain extent to build an equilibrium and control who I was surrounding myself with, control what I was doing and everything like that. But then it became to where I didn't see anybody, I didn't do anything, I didn't go out, I was only focused on me, because all these people around me hurt me so much that it was honestly so scary for me to meet anybody else and invest any time in them. I didn't trust people anymore. The only thing that I had trust in was me, kind of. And in some ways, I didn't even have that type of trust with myself. So I was super vigilant, super anal about my schedule. I need to wake up at 5 a.m. or I'm a disappointment. I need to go to bed at 8 p.m. or I've disappointed myself. I need to meditate every single day or I'm not growing as a person. And I would it became too much. I was on a self-growth journey, but I was shaming myself, belittling myself for not being perfect. It was like that J. Cole song where it was like, good news is you've come a long way. Bad news is you went the wrong way. And like, that's totally okay in a healing journey. It's totally okay to not be perfect and to make mistakes and like change course, decide you want something new. It's more than okay. It's more than okay to not be perfect. It's more than okay to not follow one path if it feels unaligned, you know? It's okay to switch up, honestly, the essence of who you are, because you are constantly growing, you're constantly evolving. And it took me doing things that weren't aligned with me to figure out my authenticity. So like trial and error. No, this doesn't work for me. Yes, this works for me. And so on and so on. So how to identify this trauma? What does this trauma look like? When you were growing up, you are probably told you're too sensitive, you're too dramatic, you're too emotional. You expressed a need or a feeling and you were shut down immediately. You're fine. Stop crying. Those types of things. You were punished for speaking up, especially against authority. So don't talk back. Your truth disrupted someone else's comfortability, and you were made to feel responsible for their reaction. And you probably received love, praise, or approval only when you were agreeable, quiet, or impressive. Through all of this, what resulted is you identified danger in your truth instead of safety. So how the body will store this energy? When your truth-telling resulted in emotional pain or a social threat, for example, rejection, isolation, humiliation, your nervous system learned that my authenticity is unsafe. And your body naturally remembers and creates protective responses. So people-pleasing to avoid conflict, the freeze response, which is silencing, disassociating or shrinking your presence, or perfectionism, which is performing a safe version of yourself to stay loved. How will this response show up later in life? Even as an adult, you'll find yourself second-guessing your words or your tone consistently. You downplay your brilliance or your intuition to stay relatable. When I dropped out of college, I was still living in the house with 7 girls who were all going to college. And I didn't really think that it was gonna be like anything when I dropped out. But I found that I made one girl in particular like extremely insecure about the subject. And every time I'd mention it, she would be like, I wanted to drop out too. Like, I never wanted to go to school, but my parents like made me and da-da-da-da-da. And she, like, when I started doing well in my business ventures after dropping out, started making money, got my real estate license. She's like, you can sell that house? You can do that? And like the first day I got my sale, I went home and she's like literally started bullying me. Like I went home, we shared a bathroom. I shared a bathroom with this girl and I was washing my face, minding my own business. She's like 30 feet away. We lived in a big house with 8 girls. She's literally like 30 feet away. She just sees me washing my face. She comes up within 5 feet of me and then yells, ew, and runs back where she was. I was like, okay. It was like, and then later that night, she comes home after drinking or something, and she goes into her room. Our rooms are like the ones that are right next to each other. Our walls are paper thin. And she starts screaming obscenities, like screaming all these terrible things about me. Like, I effing hate her. She's so da-da-da. Like, just all these like slurs and mean things, damn well knowing I'm in the room over, like, listening. And like when I dropped out, I really didn't expect to lose all my friends that I had in college, but apparently I wasn't relatable anymore. We had nothing in common, because I wasn't partying with them anymore. I didn't have the time like I used to. Babe, I have to wake up at 7 a.m. to go to work and pay my bills, like, so that y'all don't my worst fear in that circumstance was being late for rent because all of them had their parents paying and I was the only one. That was my worst nightmare. But I was super outspoken about being a college dropout at that time. I was super proud of it, I guess. Like, I wanted to be an example, like, that there's not only one path, and I shouldn't have been so loud about it, but I also, like, it was, like, I got so shamed for it that then I went silent. I, like, just wouldn't talk about my accomplishments anymore. I wouldn't talk about me, what I'm doing, anything like that. Like, I wouldn't express myself. I didn't feel comfortable expressing myself to people anymore. And especially people who took the traditional route, the college route, the 9-to-5 route, it became very hard for me to express myself to these people because it either felt like I feel like they felt like I was belittling them by taking a different path and being successful in it, or like I would talk about my goals, like these big goals, like I want to have a yoga retreat, I want to do this, and these people would feel insecure. I think like they would just project insecurity onto me, but in a way where they would try to shame me or belittle me because it hurt them. Like, it was like, how dare you, I'm miserable, how dare, like, we're all miserable, how dare you choose not misery, you know? Like, that's kind of what it felt like. So it was like, whatever, you feel you, I'm happy now that I chose a different path. You feel guilty after posting something vulnerable or honest online. I go back and I rethink my TikToks about dropping out of college, about, like, I'm never trying to shame the traditional route, but people who took the traditional route take it as such a shame. And I don't want to hurt their feelings because I have so many people and friends that I love and respect that took the traditional route. It's just, I want to be a voice for people like me, like people who are in the college route and realized, holy crap, I'm going to have a lot of loans after this and I don't even like what I'm doing. Like, I want to help those types of people. I'm not trying to shame anybody. I'm trying to be myself. But I constantly am second guessing that and going back and forth with myself of, is this rude? Is this bad? Should I not do this? Should I not talk about it? Because of how, like, you know, it's like, it offends people when your goals are more ambitious and you refuse to no longer feel bad doing something. Like, anything that I do, I'm not going to feel bad. If this job makes me feel bad, if this job feels like it's sucking my soul from me, school felt like it was sucking my soul from me, like, in those types of things, I'm not going to participate because I want to be authentic to myself. I want to feel good living this life. I feel like I only have one life to live and I want to use it creating. I'd love to go back to college when I have the money to fully pay for it and not have to work 3 jobs on top of it to afford my living expenses. I'd love to go back to college when I'm not in a scarcity mindset. I'd love to go back to college and pursue something that I'm actually passionate about. When I was debating on colleges, I was debating between University of Hawaii and San Diego State University. If I went to University of Hawaii, I would have pursued my passion of being a marine biologist. Always, my entire life, my dream has been to work for Shark Week and work with sharks, study sharks. But when I was choosing colleges and then San Diego, my plan was, okay, I'll go into the Air Force ROTC and I'll do the anesthesiologist path. That was my original plan before COVID happened. And I chose that path because it made more money, right? It wasn't my passion, but it made more money. Soon into taking chem classes and researching more into the ROTC, and I was like, wow, this is really not me. This is very far off from what I truly love, and it's going to be really hard for me to follow through with this path if I'm only doing it for money, like if there's no passion in it. And I don't really trust the medical industry personally, like Western medicine. I just don't trust like medicine in the United States that much. I think a lot of it is skewed and there's a lot more to just prescribing a pill. Like a lot of these illnesses are rooted in us through traumas and things like that, and we're just not taught that. And as I became more spiritually aware and more spiritually passionate about these things, I learned that as well. I was like, wow, this path really disaligns with my authenticity, so I need to try something else. So I tried business, and in business, it didn't make sense to me. I was like, why not? Like, I'm about to take out $200,000 in loans. Let's be real. I'm about to take out $200,000 in loans. If I want to even get, like, in San Diego State, out-of-state tuition, I've said this before, you can definitely do a less bougie version, go to community college or whatever. I wanted the big party school, and, you know, like, my decisions are my decisions. I think college education is a privilege. And if I had the privilege of going to college fully paid for by my parents or something like that, I would 100% pursue a business degree. I would 100%. But in my shoes, it didn't make sense. It didn't seem like a financial return. I also didn't see myself working a desk job. I've never seen myself working a desk job. Even in high school, I was like anything but a desk job. And that's not to shame people who are working a desk job. Do you? If that's your authentic calling, do you? But like, I'm like, have any of y'all seen those TikToks recently that have been going viral about people that like 6 months after backpacking, like their before and after, and how they literally look like they found their like light again. They have light in their eyes. They look so happy. Their soul looks fulfilled. It's because humans aren't meant for this desk job life. It's not soul fulfilling. It's not soul food. And it's only to pay your bills. Even sometimes you're still struggling to pay your bills and you're stuck in the hamster wheel of life. And it's a trap, and a very thought out, well played trap because it's not accidental that loans are X amount usually. And then your 9 to 5 makes you X amount. So you can only pay off those loans like so much at a time if you take that traditional route, if you continue in that traditional route. And then you're pushed to buy a house, and then you have a mortgage, and then you're still paying off that student debt. So you of course have to stay at that 9 to 5. You have to, because you have to pay off these bills. You're indebted. You're in a hamster wheel. And if that hamster wheel brings you fulfillment and you're 100% happy, you feel like your authentic self, you feel like you're thriving, I'm so happy for you. Teach me how you can be like so happy and content in that, because like if I like could be happy with the simple things, life would be a lot easier. but there's such an aching on my soul, such a passion in my soul to live, to run, to travel, to swim in the ocean, to lie in the grass, like, to be a human, to be a human being, and enjoy the sun, and not be like running on this clock of, it's just like a never-ending clock. That's what drove me to like want to die. Because it's like, are you serious? I gotta wake up and work this job that I don't even like to pay these bills for this place that I'm unhappy in. Like, it's like, why? And in nowadays, suicide is it's the number one cause of death for people my age, which is like the saddest thing. It's so disheartening. And I feel like people, like I felt like exactly what they feel. And maybe not exactly what they feel, everybody feels, but I've been in that position. I've been in that like darkness, and I felt like there was no hope. I felt like there was no purpose but in pure authenticity, in creation, in devotion to yourself and the divine, there is so much purpose, there's so much life, there's so much love. So what are you chasing? Because if you're chasing only money, it's just that isn't true wealth. At the end of the day, it's going to feel very lonely. If you're chasing community, if you're chasing good people, you have strong boundaries to where you can also narrow out and not surround yourself with people who don't have genuine good intentions for you. If you build your self-worth to a level where you can also realize, oh, that didn't make me feel good. And then you can communicate that properly, like in a way of that's respectful to that other person too, because they might not have done it out of malintentions. It's just, like communicate and have that strong value and worth within you to say, I'm no longer going to shrink myself for other people. I'm no longer here to make you happy. I'm here to make me happy. I'm here to be me. I want to create what makes me happy. I want to do what makes me happy. In my personal experience, I have found so much more joy, so much more peace, so much more love and connection and happiness, just all the positive things in choosing me, in choosing what I want, what I like, what I love. And when I put myself first, now I have the energy to give to others. But when I'm constantly taking and pouring from an empty cup, I can't be present with others. I'm disassociated. I used to have so many moments where I was disassociated from my body. Like, it just felt like I was floating in outer space, like watching my body on autopilot go through the motions of the day that I hated, the day that I dreaded, and that I just wanted to end. Like, it was like that. And my message here today is basically choose a life that you're excited to wake up for. That's authenticity. When you're excited to live your life, you're aligned with your authentic self. Don't hold back from setting boundaries, asking for help, or being visible. So the steps to healing this wound: 1, identifying it. Name it. Say it out loud. Acknowledge, I was taught that it is not safe to be myself. This awareness alone removes shame. You're not broken, you were just protecting yourself. Safety doesn't come from others approving you. It comes from you approving you. You feel safe in your body when you choose you. So little somatic practices to get yourself realigned when you feel off balance, like breath work, EFT tapping, nervous system regulation, meditation, yoga. All of these things help rewire the brain and the body to help feel safe while being seen and heard. So go through the motions by yourself and tell yourself, I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel valued, until you truly believe it. Start with just small expressions, saying what you really feel, asking for what you really need. Post what's real. I remember when I was at my darkest, I probably looked the happiest on social media, and that drove me into such a insane spiral of like, my life looks like a movie on social media, like so fun, like I'm so happy, like I'm living it up. But in truth, I couldn't be more miserable. Let your system relearn that I told the truth and I am safe. I survived. Reparent your voice. Become that parent or that person that you needed as a child. And speak to that inner child with compassion. Tell yourself, it is safe to speak. I love when you're loud. I love when you're soft, messy, and real. Give your voice back to the part of you who learned how to stay quiet. So what are you losing by being inauthentic? You'll experience chronic burnout and you'll feel like you're performing. You feel unseen even when you're liked, and you're disconnected from your intuition and magnetism, meaning you're attracting relationships or opportunities that are unaligned. And when you choose authenticity, you begin attracting aligned relationships, community, love, opportunities, and clients. You feel freer, lighter, and more at home in your body. I love the song lyric from Erykah Badu that's like, I take my home everywhere I go, because your body is your home. Like, it's your safe space. So you need to feel safe in your body to feel safe anywhere else. If you post content, it becomes magnetic because you're your authentic expression. And you naturally stand out because very few people are brave enough to be real. So how can you practice this mentality? Do little micro check-ins every day. Ask yourself, does this feel true to me? Set healthy boundaries that support your nervous system and energy. Express yourself creatively in ways that feel nourishing, not like you're performing. Release the pressure to be consistent and allow yourself to evolve publicly. People that I went to college with, I love how they got to see my evolution. I went from being a sorority frat rat to dropping out and becoming a real estate agent, to buying a Porsche and working for a construction company, to starting my own construction company, to selling my Porsche because the construction company went under, to working for Cookies, the dispensary, to starting my own podcast, to where I am now. And I have publicly changed so many times. And that's okay. To me, it's okay. It's even more than okay because I'm not the only one having trial and error, and it's okay to be like, this doesn't work for me. And there's an old Japanese saying that's like, the sooner you get off the train, the cheaper the ticket back's gonna be. So when you realize you're going the wrong way, the sooner you get off, the cheaper it's gonna be to return to your authentic path. But the further you go, the longer it's gonna take to get back there. So it's okay to have these daily check-ins, weekly, monthly check-ins. Be like, is this really something I like? Am I really enjoying myself? Am I having fun? Because that's the purpose of human experience. Have fun. Love, enjoy. You're not here to be miserable. You're not. Against popular belief. This is not supposed to be some sort of hell. I know that some aspects of it seem like that, like when you don't have control over your life, but you choose where you put your energy and who you give your control to. So if you want to be you can make that choice today. Today. That's all it takes is a choice. And a day, a night, 10 minutes with yourself, reflecting to say, I no longer, that's what depression means, by the way. Depression means deep rest, and it's your body telling you, I no longer want to play this role. When I was so depressed, it was my body screaming at me, I don't want to do this anymore. Please, I don't want to do this anymore. Listen to your body, listen to what it's telling you. So some journal prompts for this week, if you guys want some little entries to help you out. Where in my life am I still filtering myself to be liked, chosen, or feel safe? What parts of myself have I labeled as too much or not enough? And what would it feel like to express my truth fully, even if it made others uncomfortable? Okay, y'all, that's it for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to comment. It really helps my channel. And send it to a friend who might need it. I love you guys with all my heart. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. And if you're ready to speak your truth, comment down below. Let me know. This is going to be a community of support and love. So comment it down below if you want some cheering on and encouragement and things like that. And everybody listening, please go to other people's comments if there is any. And let's build this community. Let's build a support system together. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you next week for another episode of Snow White and the 7 Does podcast.